In the heart of Chicago, where skyscrapers kissed the clouds and streets buzzed with life, there lived a man named William Carter. He was not just any man. He was the owner of one of the most luxurious hotels in the city. The Grand Horizon Hotel stood tall, its golden letters gleaming under the sun, a symbol of wealth and sophistication. William had built his empire through hard work, smart decisions, and sometimes sheer luck. But as years passed, he grew accustomed to his privileged life, surrounded by people who flattered him and events that celebrated his success. William loved hosting parties at his hotel. These gatherings were more than just social events. They were displays of power and influence. Guests dressed in their finest clothes would sip champagne, laugh loudly, and admire the opulent decor while enjoying live music performed by world-class artists. For William, these evenings were a chance to show off his taste and connections. And on this particular evening, everything seemed perfect, until an unexpected moment changed things forever. The ballroom sparkled under crystal chandeliers, filled with the hum of conversation and clinking glasses. Servers moved gracefully between tables, carrying trays of hors d'oeuvres and drinks. In the corner, a string quartet played soft melodies that blended seamlessly into the atmosphere. Among the guests were some of the wealthiest and most influential people in the city. They mingled easily, exchanging pleasantries and discussing business deals or upcoming vacations. But behind the scenes, away from the glamour, the staff worked tirelessly to ensure the event ran smoothly. Maria Lopez, a maid who had been working at the hotel for over a decade, was among them. She knew every nook and cranny of the building, from the grand ballroom to the smallest storage closet. Her job was demanding, but she took pride in keeping the hotel spotless. That night, she wore her uniform neatly pressed, her dark hair tied back in a tight bun. Maria's daughter, Lily, often accompanied her to work. At 13 years old, Lily was quiet and reserved, preferring books and music over chatter and games. She carried her violin case everywhere she went, practicing whenever she could find a quiet moment. Music was her escape, a way to express herself when words failed. Though they didn't have much money, Maria had managed to enroll Lily in free music classes offered by a local community center. It was a sacrifice, but seeing her daughter's passion made it all worthwhile. On this particular evening, Lily sat quietly near the entrance of the ballroom, observing the scene before her. She watched the elegantly dressed guests laugh and talk, enchanted by the elegance of the setting. The sound of the string quartet drifted toward her, inspiring her to imagine herself playing alongside them someday. She clutched her violin case tightly, feeling both excitement and nervousness. This world felt so far removed from hers, yet she dreamed of being part of it. William noticed Lily almost by accident. As he circulated among his guests, shaking hands and sharing jokes, his eyes landed on the girl sitting quietly near the door. At first he mistook her for someone important, a guest's child perhaps, but then he recognized her as Maria's daughter. A mischievous idea crossed his mind. Always eager to entertain his friends, he decided to use the situation for a light-hearted joke. "Hey everyone," William called out, raising his voice slightly to draw attention. The room quieted down as curious faces turned toward him. "Look who we have here," he continued, pointing at Lily. "This is Maria's daughter. I hear she plays the violin. Why don't we let her give us a little performance? Come on, kid, show us what you've got." His words echoed through the ballroom, followed by polite laughter from the crowd. Some guests exchanged amused glances, expecting nothing more than a clumsy attempt from someone they assumed wouldn't be skilled. After all, how could the daughter of a maid possibly measure up to the professional musicians they were used to hearing? Lily froze, her cheeks turning, red as dozens of eyes focused on her. She looked at her mother, unsure of what to do. Maria gave her a small nod, silently urging her to take the opportunity. Taking a deep breath, Lily stood up and walked hesitantly toward the center of the room. Her heart pounded in her chest as she opened her violin case and carefully positioned the instrument under her chin. For a brief moment, the room fell silent. Then, with a steadying breath, Lily began to play. What followed stunned everyone present. Her bow glided across the strings with confidence, producing notes so clear and precise that they seemed to hang in the air. The melody she chose was complex, requiring skill and emotion, but Lily delivered it flawlessly. Each note resonated deeply, capturing the audience's attention completely. As she played, the initial amusement faded, replaced by awe. People leaned forward in their chairs, captivated by the music. Even William, who had intended the whole thing as a joke, found himself unable to look away. There was something magical about Lily's performance, a raw talent combined with genuine passion that left no room for doubt. When Lily finally finished, there was a moment of silence before the room erupted into applause. Guests cheered enthusiastically, many rising to their feet. Some wiped tears from their eyes, moved by the beauty of the piece. William stood frozen, his earlier smirk replaced by a look of disbelief. He hadn't expected this, not even close. Maria watched proudly from the sidelines, her heart swelling with joy. She had always believed in her daughter's abilities, but seeing others recognize them too was overwhelming. For Lily, it was a moment of validation, a reminder that her hard work and dedication mattered. And so, what had started as a cruel joke turned into something extraordinary. Little did anyone know, this was only the beginning of a journey that would change lives, including William's, in ways no one could have predicted. The applause in the ballroom lingered long after Lily finished playing. Guests clapped enthusiastically, some even calling out compliments like bravo and amazing. The atmosphere had shifted entirely from amusement to admiration. People gathered around Lily, congratulating her and asking questions about her music. Some wanted to know where she learned to play so beautifully, while others simply expressed their astonishment at her skill. William stood silently, still processing what he had just witnessed. His mind raced with conflicting emotions: guilt for treating Lily as a joke, surprise at her undeniable talent, and a growing sense of admiration for the young girl who had captured everyone's attention. He realized how wrong he had been to dismiss her so casually. For years, he had seen Maria and her daughter as part of the background, invisible workers who kept his hotel running smoothly. But now he saw them differently, as individuals with dreams, talents, and stories worth noticing. As the crowd began to disperse, William approached Maria and Lily. His usual confident demeanor was replaced by humility. Clearing his throat, he said, "Maria, I need to apologize. What I did tonight was thoughtless and disrespectful. I never imagined your daughter would be this talented." Maria looked at him, surprised by his sincerity. After a moment, she nodded slowly. "It's okay," she replied softly. "Lily has worked very hard for this. She loves music more than anything." William turned to Lily, who was still holding her violin tightly. "You were incredible," he told her honestly. "I've never heard anyone play like that before. Where did you learn?" Lily hesitated for a moment, then answered shyly, "At the community center. They offer free lessons, and my mom helps me practice whenever she can." Her words struck William deeply. Here was a girl who had achieved so much despite having so little support compared to the privileged children he knew. Determined to make amends, William made an offer that surprised even himself. "Lily," he said, "I want to help you. If you're serious about music, I'd like to pay for proper lessons with professional teachers. You deserve every opportunity to grow your talent." Maria's eyes widened in disbelief. She had always dreamed of giving Lily better opportunities, but never thought it would come from someone like William. Still, she was cautious. "Why are you doing this?" she asked bluntly. William paused, considering her question. "Because I was wrong," he admitted, "and because I see something special in your daughter. I want to help her reach her full potential." Though hesitant, Maria eventually agreed. She trusted William's intentions, especially since he seemed genuinely moved by Lily's performance. For Lily, the news was overwhelming. She had spent years practicing in small spaces, dreaming of bigger stages. and now those dreams felt within reach. Over the next few weeks, William kept his promise. He arranged for Lily to meet with renowned violin instructors, including Elena Foster, a retired concertmaster who lived nearby. When Lily first met Elena, she was nervous but excited. The older woman listened intently as Lily played, nodding approvingly. "You have a gift," Elena told her after the session, "but gifts require discipline to flourish. Are you ready to work hard?" Lily nodded eagerly. From that day forward, her life changed dramatically. Every afternoon after school, she traveled to Elena's studio for intensive lessons. Under Elena's guidance, Lily refined her technique, learning advanced pieces that challenged her skills. She practiced tirelessly, often staying up late into the night to perfect difficult passages. Music became her entire world, filling her days with purpose and joy. Meanwhile, William continued to support Lily in ways beyond just funding her education. He introduced her to influential people in the arts community, opening doors that might otherwise have remained closed. One evening, he invited her to perform at a charity gala hosted by the hotel. It was her first time playing in front of such a large audience, and though she was nervous, she delivered a breathtaking performance. The guests were moved to tears, and many approached her afterward to praise her talent. Word of Lily's abilities spread quickly. Soon, she was invited to participate in local competitions and recitals. Each performance brought new opportunities and recognition. Teachers marveled at her dedication, while peers admired her humility despite her success. Despite her growing fame, Lily remained grounded, always remembering the sacrifices her mother had made for her. Back at home, Maria watched her daughter blossom with pride. Though their financial struggles persisted, knowing that Lily was pursuing her passion made everything worthwhile. On weekends, they would sit together in their small apartment, listening to recordings of famous violinists or discussing Lily's progress. Sometimes Maria would hum along softly, imagining what the future might hold for her daughter. For William, supporting Lily became more than just an act of redemption. It became a source of personal growth. He found himself attending her performances, cheering her on like a proud mentor. Over time, he developed a genuine friendship with Maria and Lily, one built on mutual respect and shared experiences. Their presence reminded him of the importance of kindness and humility, qualities he had neglected in his pursuit of wealth and status. One evening, after a particularly successful recital, William sat with Maria and Lily backstage. The room buzzed with excitement as attendees praised Lily's performance. William leaned back in his chair, smiling warmly. "Do you remember that night at the hotel?" he asked Lily. She giggled, nodding. "How could I forget? You told me to play as a joke." William chuckled nervously. "Well, I'm glad I did, even if it was for all the wrong reasons." Maria chimed in, her voice filled with gratitude. "That night changed everything for us. We'll never forget what you've done for Lily." William shook his head modestly. "No, it's Lily who's changing things. She's reminding me of what truly matters." As they talked, it became clear that this unlikely bond between a wealthy hotel owner, a hard-working maid, and a gifted young musician was transforming all their lives in profound ways. Though challenges lay ahead, none of them doubted that Lily's journey was only beginning. With determination, support, and unwavering belief in herself, she was poised to achieve greatness. And through it all, William vowed to stand by her side, ensuring that no obstacle would stand in the way of her dreams. As months turned into years, Lily's talent continued to grow under the careful guidance of Elena Foster and the unwavering support of William Carter. Her progress was remarkable, not just in her technical skill, but also in her ability to convey emotion through her music. Each note she played seemed to tell a story, resonating deeply with those who listened. She began performing at prestigious venues across Chicago, earning standing ovations and glowing reviews from critics. Yet despite her growing fame, Lily remained humble, always remembering the long hours of practice and the sacrifices her mother had made. William, too, had changed in ways he never expected. Once known for his arrogance and aloofness, he now carried himself with a quiet humility. Supporting Lily had awakened something in him, a desire to use his wealth and influence for good. He started visiting schools and community centers, speaking to children about the importance of following their dreams. "Talent can be found anywhere," he would say during these talks. "It's up to us to nurture it and give people the opportunities they deserve." Inspired by Lily's journey, William decided to take his efforts further. He established a scholarship fund aimed at helping young musicians from low-income families pursue their passions. The program provided financial aid for lessons, instruments, and even travel expenses for competitions. Word of the scholarship spread quickly, and soon applications poured in from all over the city. William personally reviewed each one, looking for students with potential and determination, qualities he recognized in Lily. For Maria, watching her daughter succeed was both joyful and bittersweet. Joyful because she saw how happy music made Lily, and bittersweet because she often wondered if she could have done more to support her earlier. Still, she took pride in knowing that she had given Lily everything she could, even when times were tough. On weekends, they still spent time together, listening to recordings of famous violinists or discussing upcoming performances. Sometimes Maria would sit quietly as Lily practiced, marveling at how far she had come. Lily's hard work eventually led to an invitation that felt like a dream come true, a chance to audition for a renowned music conservatory in New York City. It was one of the most competitive programs in the country, attracting prodigies from around the world. When she received the letter, her hands trembled as she read it aloud to her mother. "They want me to audition," she whispered, her voice filled with awe. Maria hugged her tightly, tears streaming down her face. "You've worked so hard for this," she said. "You'll do amazing." Preparing for the audition was no small task. Lily spent countless hours refining her technique, choosing pieces that showcased her range and emotional depth. Elena pushed her harder than ever, challenging her to dig deeper into the music and find new layers of expression. William, meanwhile, encouraged her to stay confident. "You're ready," he told her repeatedly. "Trust yourself." The day of the audition arrived and Lily traveled to New York with Maria and William by her side. The conservatory was an imposing building, its grand halls echoing with the sounds of pianos, violins, and voices. As they walked inside, Lily felt a mix of excitement and nerves. Other candidates waited nervously in the lobby, some warming up on their instruments while others flipped through sheet music. Despite the pressure, Lily reminded herself why she was there, for the love of music. When her turn came, Lily stepped onto the stage and took a deep breath. The panel of judges sat silently, their expressions unreadable. But as soon as she began to play, the room transformed. Her bow moved gracefully across the strings, producing melodies that seemed to fill every corner of the hall. Time seemed to stand still as she poured her heart into the performance, leaving nothing behind. When she finished, there was a moment of silence before the judges erupted into applause. Weeks later, the results arrived. Lily opened the envelope with shaking hands, her heart pounding in anticipation. As she read the words, "Congratulations, you have been accepted," tears streamed down her face. She ran to her mother, who embraced her tightly, both of them crying with joy. William, who had been waiting anxiously nearby, let out a cheer. "I knew you could do it," he exclaimed, hugging them both. The acceptance marked a new chapter in Lily's life. Moving to New York meant leaving behind the familiar comforts of home, but she was ready for the challenge. With William's help, they arranged for her to live in a dormitory near the conservatory, where she would meet other talented students. Before she left, Maria packed her suitcase carefully, folding her clothes and tucking in a framed photo of the two of them. "For when you miss home," she said softly. On the day of her departure, William accompanied them to the airport. As they stood at the gate, saying their goodbyes, Maria held Lily close. "Make me proud," she said, her voice thick with emotion. William stepped forward and handed Lily a small box. Inside was a silver locket engraved with a single word: "Believe." "This is for you," he said. "Whenever you doubt yourself, open it and remember how far you've come." As the plane soared into the sky, Lily looked out the window, her mind racing with thoughts of what lay ahead. She knew the road wouldn't be easy. There would be long nights, tough critiques, and moments of self-doubt, but she was determined to keep going. Music wasn't just her passion, it was her purpose. Back in Chicago, William and Maria returned to their routines, though things felt different without Lily around. William threw himself into expanding the scholarship program, inspired by the impact it had already made. Maria, meanwhile, found solace in knowing that her daughter was living her dream. They kept in touch through phone calls and video chats, sharing updates and celebrating milestones together. In New York, Lily quickly adapted to the rigorous demands of the conservatory. Her classmates were equally talented, pushing her to improve and grow. She formed close friendships with fellow musicians, bonding over late-night practice sessions and shared struggles. Though the workload was intense, Lily thrived in the environment, soaking up knowledge like a sponge. One evening, after a particularly grueling rehearsal, Lily sat alone in her dorm room, reflecting on how much her life had changed. Just a few years ago, she had been a shy girl sitting outside a ballroom, clutching her violin case nervously. Now she was studying at one of the best music schools in the world, surrounded by people who believed in her. She opened the locket William had given her, tracing the engraved word with her finger. Believe. And believe she did. Every note she played was a testament to her resilience, her talent, and the extraordinary journey that had brought her here. Though challenges lay ahead, Lily knew she wasn't alone. She carried with her the love of her mother, the support of William, and the unshakable belief that anything was possible if you dared to dream. Lily's time at the conservatory was a whirlwind of growth, challenges, and discoveries. Each day brought new lessons, not just about music but also about herself. She learned to balance the demands of her studies with the emotional toll of constantly striving for perfection. Her instructors were strict but fair, pushing her to explore new techniques and styles she had never considered before. At first, the pressure felt overwhelming, but Lily soon realized that it was part of what made her better. One of her professors, a stern yet kind woman named Ms. Bennett, often reminded her students that music wasn't just about technical skill. It's about connection, she would say during rehearsals. You have to make your audience feel something. These words stuck with Lily, guiding her as she practiced pieces that ranged from classical masterworks to contemporary compositions. Slowly, she began to understand how to infuse her performances with raw emotion, making them more than just notes on a page. They became stories. Despite her progress, there were moments when doubt crept in. Late at night, after hours of practice, Lily would sit by her window, staring out at the city lights. Sometimes she wondered if she truly belonged in such an elite environment. Many of her classmates came from families who had supported their musical journeys since childhood, providing them with private tutors and expensive instruments. In contrast, Lily's path had been paved with second-hand violins and free community lessons. But instead of letting these thoughts discourage her, she used them as fuel to work harder. William and Maria stayed involved in Lily's life, even from afar. William frequently called to check on her progress, offering encouragement and advice. "Remember why you started," he would tell her. "Don't let anyone make you forget your worth." Maria sent care packages filled with homemade snacks and handwritten notes reminding Lily of home. Their support gave her strength during difficult times, helping her stay focused on her goals. As the months passed, Lily began to shine. Her performances in class earned praise from her teachers and admiration from her peers. One day, she was chosen to represent the conservatory at a special showcase for donors and alumni. The event was held in a grand concert hall, its stage A, adorned with fresh flowers and elegant lighting. Nervous but excited, Lily prepared meticulously, practicing her piece over and over until she could play it flawlessly. On the night of the performance, the hall buzzed with anticipation. Important figures from the music world sat in the audience, including composers, conductors, and philanthropists. When Lily stepped onto the stage, she took a deep breath, letting the energy of the room settle around her. Then she began to play. Her violin sang with clarity and passion, filling the space with a melody so powerful that it seemed to touch everyone present. By the time she finished, the crowd erupted into applause, rising to their feet in admiration. Among the attendees was a famous conductor named Mr. Davidson, known for discovering young talent and giving them opportunities to perform with prestigious orchestras. He approached Lily after the show, his eyes gleaming with interest. "That was extraordinary," he said. "Have you ever considered performing professionally?" Lily's heart raced as she shook her head. "Not really," she admitted. "I'm still learning." Mr. Davidson smiled warmly. "Well, keep my card. When you're ready, I'd love to hear you again." The encounter left Lily feeling both thrilled and overwhelmed. She hadn't expected such recognition so early in her career. Yet she knew it was a sign that she was on the right path. Over the next few weeks, she poured even more effort into her studies, determined to live up to the expectations others had of her. Meanwhile, back in Chicago, William continued to expand his scholarship program. Inspired by Lily's success, he partnered with local schools to identify talented students who might benefit from financial aid. He also organized fundraising events, inviting influential figures from the arts community to contribute. One evening, at a gala hosted by the Grand Horizon Hotel, he shared Lily's story with the guests. "She reminded me that talent isn't defined by background or circumstance," he said. "It's about opportunity, and we have the power to create those opportunities." The speech resonated deeply with the audience, leading to a surge in donations for the scholarship fund. For William, it was a reminder of how much impact one person could have. He often thought about the night he had jokingly asked Lily to play, marveling at how that moment had set off a chain reaction of positive change. It wasn't just Lily's life that had transformed. His own perspective had shifted entirely. Maria, too, found joy in seeing the ripple effects of Lily's journey. Though she missed her daughter dearly, she took pride in knowing that Lily's success was inspiring others. One day, while cleaning a suite at the hotel, she overheard two guests talking about the scholarship program. "Did you hear about that girl who got accepted to the conservatory?" one of them asked. "Her story is incredible." Maria smiled to herself, feeling a quiet sense of satisfaction. Back in New York, Lily faced another challenge: composing her own piece for a school competition. Until now, she had always played works written by others, interpreting their melodies and emotions. Creating something original was daunting, but it also excited her. She spent weeks brainstorming ideas, drawing inspiration from her experiences, the struggles, the triumphs, and the people who had shaped her life. When the competition arrived, Lily stood nervously backstage, clutching her sheet music. As she walked onto the stage, she glanced at the audience, imagining her mother and William sitting among them. Taking a deep breath, she began to play. The piece was hauntingly beautiful, weaving together themes of hope, resilience, and gratitude. When she finished, the room fell silent before erupting into applause. Later, the judges announced that Lily had won first place. The victory boosted Lily's confidence, proving to her that she could succeed not only as a performer, but also as a creator. It was a turning point, solidifying her belief that she had something unique to offer the world of music. Encouraged by her win, she decided to submit her composition to a national contest for young musicians. To her amazement, she was selected as a finalist. Traveling to the finals, Lily felt a mix of excitement and nerves. The competition was fierce, featuring some of the brightest young talents in the country. But as she stood on stage, preparing to play her piece, she remembered Ms. Bennett's words, "Make them feel something." Closing her eyes, she let the music flow through her, pouring every ounce of emotion into the performance. When she opened her eyes, the audience was on their feet, cheering wildly. Though she didn't win the top prize, being recognized at such a high level was a monumental achievement. The experience taught her that success wasn't just about winning, it was about growth, perseverance, and staying true to herself. As she returned to the conservatory, she carried this lesson with her, using it to guide her future endeavors. Through it all, Lily remained grateful for the people who had supported her along the way. William's generosity, Maria's sacrifices, and Elena's guidance had shaped her into the musician she was becoming. And though she was miles away from home, she knew she was never alone. Every note she played was a tribute to their belief in her, a reminder that dreams, no matter how big, are possible when nurtured with love and determination. Lily's journey was far from over, but the challenges she faced grew more complex as her career began to take shape. By her third year at the conservatory, she had earned a reputation as one of the most promising young violinists in the program. Her professors praised her dedication and creativity, while her peers admired her humility despite her growing success. Yet, just as things seemed to be falling into place, an unexpected obstacle threatened to derail everything. It happened during a routine rehearsal for an upcoming concert. Lily was practicing a particularly difficult passage when she felt a sharp pain shoot through her wrist. At first she ignored it, thinking it was just fatigue from hours of playing. But the pain persisted, growing worse with each attempt to pick up her violin. Panicked, she visited a doctor, who delivered devastating news. She had developed tendinitis, likely caused by years of intense practice without proper rest. The injury wasn't severe enough to end her career, but it required immediate attention and months of recovery. For someone like Lily, whose life revolved around music, the diagnosis felt like a cruel twist of fate. She had worked so hard to get where she was, sacrificing countless nights and weekends to perfect her craft. Now she faced the possibility of losing everything she had built. The thought of not being able to play made her feel lost, as though a part of her identity had been stripped away. Maria was heartbroken when she heard the news. "What will you do now?" she asked during one of their phone calls. Lily tried to sound optimistic, though her voice trembled. "I don't know, Mom," she admitted. "But I can't give up. I'll figure something out." William, too, reached out to offer support. "Take all the time you need," he told her. "Your health comes first. We'll get through this together." Determined to heal, Lily followed her doctor's advice, taking a break from playing and focusing on physical therapy. It was frustrating at first, watching her classmates prepare for performances while she could only sit on the sidelines. But slowly, she began to see her recovery as an opportunity to reflect and grow. She started reading books about famous musicians who had overcome similar setbacks, drawing inspiration from their resilience. She also spent time composing music, channeling her emotions into new pieces that reflected her struggles and hopes. During this period, William played a crucial role in keeping Lily's spirits high. He arranged for her to meet Dr. Rachel Meyer, a renowned hand specialist who worked with professional musicians. Under Dr. Meyer's care, Lily learned techniques to prevent future injuries and gradually regained strength in her wrist. William also introduced her to a former pianist named Daniel, who had retired after a hand injury but found fulfillment in teaching and mentoring young artists. Daniel became a source of comfort and guidance for Lily, helping her navigate the emotional toll of her setback. As weeks turned into months, Lily's determination paid off. Though she couldn't play with the same intensity as before, her wrist improved enough for her to resume practicing. Returning to the violin felt like coming home, but she approached it differently this time, with patience and mindfulness. She realized that her injury had taught her an important lesson. Music wasn't just about perfection, it was about connection and expression. Even if she couldn't play every note flawlessly, she could still move people with her passion. Her first performance after the injury was nerve-wracking. It was a small recital at the conservatory, attended mostly by classmates and faculty. As she stepped onto the stage, her hands trembled slightly, but she reminded herself of why she was there, to share her love for music, no matter what. When she began to play, the audience fell silent, captivated by the raw emotion in her performance. Though her technique wasn't flawless, her sincerity shone through, earning her a standing ovation. The experience renewed Lily's confidence and reignited her ambition. She decided to use her recovery as a chance to explore new avenues in music. Inspired by her conversations with Daniel, she began teaching violin to children at a local community center. Working with young students reminded her of her own journey, the joy of discovering music and the importance of having supportive mentors. Many of her students came from families similar to hers, struggling financially but eager to learn. Seeing their enthusiasm filled her with purpose, knowing she was passing on the gift that had changed her life. Meanwhile, William continued to expand his scholarship program, using Lily's story as a beacon of hope. He partnered with schools, foundations, and even corporations to provide resources for aspiring musicians. One initiative he launched was a summer camp for underprivileged kids, offering free lessons and workshops led by professional artists. Lily volunteered as a counselor during its inaugural session, sharing her experiences and encouraging the participants to pursue their dreams. Watching these children light up as they learned to play instruments brought tears to her eyes. It was a reminder of how far she had come and how much farther she could go. Back in Chicago, Maria noticed a change in William. The once distant hotel owner had become deeply invested in helping others, often spending weekends visiting schools or attending events for the scholarship program. His transformation inspired Maria, who began volunteering at the same community center where Lily had taken her first lessons. Together, they organized fundraisers and outreach programs, creating opportunities for families in need. Their efforts strengthened the bond between them, turning a once transactional relationship into a genuine friendship. By the time Lily graduated from the conservatory, she was a different person, not just as a musician, but as a human being. Her injury had taught her resilience, while her teaching experiences had instilled a sense of responsibility to give back. During her graduation ceremony, she delivered a speech that moved everyone in attendance. "Music saved me," she said, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. "It gave me a voice when I felt invisible, and it connected me to people who believed in me. Now it's my turn to pay that forward." After graduation, Lily faced another big decision, whether to stay in New York or return to Chicago. While New York offered endless opportunities, Chicago held her roots and the people who had shaped her journey. In the end, she chose to go back, wanting to be closer to her mother and continue contributing to the community that had supported her. William helped her secure a position as a junior instructor at a prestigious music academy, where she could teach while pursuing her own performances. Her return was celebrated warmly by everyone who knew her. Maria threw a small party at their apartment, inviting William, Elena, and several of Lily's former teachers. As they sat around the table, sharing stories and laughter, Lily felt a deep sense of gratitude. She had come so far, from a shy girl clutching her violin case outside a ballroom to a confident young woman inspiring others with her talent and perseverance. But Lily's story didn't end there. Over the next few years, she carved out a unique path for herself, balancing performing, teaching, and advocacy work. She collaborated with composers to create original pieces that highlighted social issues, using her platform to raise awareness. She also founded a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing music education to underserved communities, partnering with William's scholarship program to maximize its impact. Through it all, Lily remained grounded, always remembering the values instilled in her by her mother and the lessons she had learned along the way. Music was no longer just her passion, it was her mission. And though challenges still arose, she faced them with courage, knowing she wasn't alone. With William cheering her on, Maria's unwavering love, and a community that believed in her, Lily proved that even the toughest obstacles could lead to beautiful beginnings. Her journey was proof that talent, combined with hard work and kindness, could transform not only individual lives, but entire communities. For Lily, the violin wasn't just an instrument, it was a bridge, connecting hearts and inspiring change. And as she stood on stage, bowing to applause once again, she knew that her story was just beginning. Years passed, and Lily's life continued to evolve in ways that surprised even her. What had started as a shy girl playing violin at a hotel ballroom had blossomed into a career filled with purpose and impact. She was no longer just a musician. She was a teacher, mentor, and advocate for those who lacked opportunities. Her journey had come full circle, bringing her back to the roots that had shaped her while propelling her toward new horizons. Lily's nonprofit organization, Harmony for All, grew rapidly under her leadership. The program provided free music, lessons, instruments, and performance opportunities to children from low-income families. It also partnered with schools and community centers to create after-school programs, ensuring that every child had access to the transformative power of music. William remained a steadfast supporter, using his connections to secure funding and resources. Together, they turned what had once been a dream into a thriving reality. One of the most rewarding aspects of Lily's work was seeing the impact it had on her students. Many of them reminded her of herself, quiet, uncertain, but brimming with potential. She often told them stories about her own struggles, hoping to inspire them to keep going even when things felt impossible. "Music isn't just about talent," she would say during workshops. "It's about heart. If you put your heart into it, you can achieve anything." Her teaching style was patient and nurturing, focusing not just on technique but also on helping her students find their unique voices. One student in particular stood out, a young boy named Ethan. He was 9 years old, with unruly hair and a habit of fidgeting during lessons. At first, he struggled to hold the bow correctly, let alone produce a clear note. But Lily saw determination in his eyes and encouraged him to keep trying. Over time, Ethan's confidence grew, and by the end of the year, he performed a solo piece at the annual showcase. As he bowed to the audience, tears welled up in Lily's eyes. It was moments like these that made all her hard work worthwhile. While Lily dedicated much of her time to teaching, she also pursued her own performances. Her concerts became highly anticipated events, drawing crowds eager to hear her blend of classical masterpieces and original compositions. Critics praised her ability to connect with audiences, describing her music as both technically brilliant and deeply moving. Yet Lily never lost sight of why she played, to share her story and inspire others. One evening, after a sold-out concert, an elderly woman approached her backstage. "Your music saved me tonight," the woman said softly, her voice trembling. "I've been going through a tough time, and hearing you play reminded me that there's still beauty in the world." Lily hugged her, feeling a lump form in her throat. It was a powerful reminder of the impact art could have on people's lives. As her reputation grew, so did her influence. Lily began receiving invitations to speak at conferences and events, sharing her experiences and advocating for greater access to arts education. She spoke passionately about the importance of investing in underserved communities, emphasizing that talent existed everywhere, it just needed to be nurtured. Her speeches resonated with audiences, earning her recognition as a leader in the field of music advocacy. Back home, Maria watched her daughter's success with pride. Though she missed the days when Lily practiced in their tiny apartment, she understood how much her daughter had grown. On weekends, they would sit together, flipping through photo albums or reminiscing about old memories. Sometimes Lily would play her violin for Maria, filling their home with familiar melodies. These quiet moments were precious, grounding them amidst the whirlwind of change. William, too, found fulfillment in supporting Lily's endeavors. His transformation over the years had been remarkable. Once known for his wealth and lavish lifestyle, he now derived joy from giving back. The scholarship program he had started had helped hundreds of students pursue their dreams, many of whom credited him with changing their lives. He often joked that meeting Lily had been one of the best things to happen to him, though deep down he meant it sincerely. Despite her achievements, Lily never forgot the challenges she had faced, and how close she had come to losing everything. Her injury had taught her resilience, while her recovery had shown her the importance of balance. She made it a point to prioritize self-care, taking breaks when needed, and reminding herself that success wasn't measured by accolades but by the positive impact she had on others. In the spring of her 30th year, Lily received an invitation that brought her story full circle. She was asked to perform at the Grand Horizon Hotel, where it had all begun. The request came from William himself, who wanted to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the scholarship program. "You belong here," he told her when she hesitated. "This is where your journey started, and this is where we honor how far you've come." The night of the performance, the ballroom looked exactly as Lily remembered it. Elegant chandeliers, casting golden light, tables adorned with fresh flowers, and guests dressed in their finest attire. But this time, the atmosphere was different. Instead of being an outsider looking in, Lily walked onto the stage as the guest of honor, greeted by thunderous applause. As she raised her violin to her chin, she scanned the room, spotting familiar faces. Maria, beaming with pride, William clapping enthusiastically, Elena nodding approvingly, and countless students whose lives she had touched. Closing her eyes, she began to play. The melody was one she had composed herself, a tribute to her journey, the struggles, the triumphs, and the people who had believed in her. When she finished, the room erupted into cheers. Guests rose to their feet, wiping away tears as they applauded. William stepped forward, holding up a plaque engraved with the words, "A Legacy of Hope." "Lily," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "you've inspired us all. Thank you for showing us what's possible when we dare to dream." That night marked a new chapter for Lily, not just as a musician but as a symbol of resilience and hope. Her story had touched countless lives, proving that even the unlikeliest beginnings could lead to extraordinary outcomes. For Lily, the violin wasn't just an instrument. It was a bridge, connecting hearts and inspiring change. In the years that followed, Lily continued to perform, teach, and advocate, leaving a lasting legacy wherever she went. Her nonprofit expanded, globally, reaching communities in need across continents. She collaborated with artists from diverse backgrounds, creating music that celebrated unity and resilience. And through it all, she carried the lessons she had learned, the importance of humility, gratitude, and perseverance. Maria eventually retired, spending her days volunteering at the same community center where Lily had taken her first lessons. Together, mother and daughter hosted fundraisers, organized events, and mentored young musicians, passing on the gift that had transformed their lives. William, too, remained active, using his platform to champion causes close to his heart. Their bond, forged through shared experiences, only grew stronger with time. Looking back, Lily realized that her journey had been about more than just music. It had been about connection, the connections she had formed with her family, mentors, and students, and the connections she had inspired between others. Every note she played carried a piece of her story, reminding listeners that dreams, no matter how big, were possible if nurtured with love and determination. And so, Lily's story became a testament to the power of second chances, kindness, and belief in oneself. From a shy girl standing outside a ballroom to a celebrated musician touching lives around the world, she proved that everyone has untapped potential waiting to be discovered. As she stood on stage one final time, bowing to applause, she knew her journey was far from over, but she was ready for whatever lay ahead.